tips. How is it going, everybody? Do you hear me? It is Monday, June 13th, 2022 AD, 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. Tons of super chats have come in. Let me see. Oh, man. More super chats than I am. Oh, maybe I can find them here. Okay. More super chats than I can, let's see. Make sure I have them here. Okay, cool. Nice. I think I have it. We're going to have a fun Monday show, everybody. How you doing? We will talk about the Patriot Front thing. Perhaps we will hear from our guy from Idaho. One of our guys from Idaho who may have attended that, the counter-protest. He was a peaceful protester. An honorable man, I think. And there's an attack on the guns and all kinds of mess. All kinds of ridiculous stuff. An attack on the whites, too. It's shameful. But that and your calls. Anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. I am wearing, it finally arrived. Actually, it arrived a while ago. I just felt like I wanted to wash it first. Wash it before I wear it. I am wearing my New York Yankees jersey. Number 28, right? Donaldson. That's the racist. He's the racist who said, "What's up? What's up, Jackie?" To the black player from, I forget where, who said, "Oh, I'm the modern day Jackie Robinson. I have to change things. I have to go in and change things." And the guy's all, "What's up, Jackie?" The trash talker, talented guy, Donaldson. I forget what his first name is. But didn't he get like a 1-game suspension? And it was called racist and stuff like that? Give me a break. Shameful. Shameful. And there are other whites who are smeared for their freedom of speech, freedom to tell the truth. Their true speech it's a clamp down on true speech. It's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. You know, before I get started with the attack, though, on the true speech, let me tell you a little bit about the gun control. This is from the far-left female-run outlet, The Skim. There's like this photograph that they showed, too, with this, doing something. Give me a break. Some senators are agreeing to do something about gun violence. No such thing. Actually, yes. Yesterday, Sunday, right? A group of 20 so-called senators, 10 Democrats and 10 RINOs. I say they're RINOs. Look at these signs from these dumb girls. Sorry, kids. I always say that. So am I sorry? We go to school to better our futures, not end them. Thoughts and prayers. No. X that out. Action. It's a communist buzzword. Read the perils of indifference. Do something. And that's a Getty photograph showing these dumb girls in the March Against Our Lives in Washington, D.C. There was a rally, a big rally against your rights as Americans and as men and as women, ladies. Shameful. Shameful. As human beings, They'd agreed, these 10 rhinos and demon rats, I call them, said they'd agreed to a framework to reduce the threat of violence across our country. So dumb. Barf. As a reminder, the violence includes more than 45,000 gun deaths. No such thing as gun deaths. In 2020, in mass shootings in Buffalo, Laguna Woods. That's Laguna Woods is where the Asian guy shot up the church, right? And Uvalde, Texas. Among more than 250 others this year, mostly black. What did lawmakers agree on? Supporting legislation on mental health. Do not trust the government with your so-called mental health. School safety. Do not trust the government with your so-called school safety. And some gun restrictions. Do not trust the government with any gun restrictions. First up, red flag laws. Senator, do not trust the government to issue red flags. They red flag Trump. They red flag Trump supporters. They red flag whites and men. JLP mentioned today about how girlfriends can just accuse their boyfriends of being like abusive or something, and then they get to take away the guns. No due process at all. So evil. Yeah, I'm going to get to the Patriot Front maybe thing. Not that I know anything about them, but it's an attack on whites. The propaganda around it anyway. If they allow the courts, senators agreed to give states money. If they allow the courts to temporarily remove guns, temporarily, so-called temporarily, from people seen as dangerous. They also agreed to address the boyfriend loophole. That refers to unmarried so-called domestic violence offenders, DV, who are still able to keep their guns. So they're going after the live-ins. The live-ins. Shameful. Senators are also working to strengthen background checks. I guess because if it's a family member, meaning a wife is a family member, right? If a family member says, you're dangerous, your wife says, you're dangerous, or your husband says the wife, or the husband says the wife is dangerous, that's a little bit less likely. But it may happen. It's evil. Senators also working to strengthen background checks for people under 21 buying guns. Do not trust the government with background checks. It's like they're like spying on you. Who's spying on the spies? We need people to spy on the spies. But no, they don't have our best interests at heart. Mental health and school safety. Senators would invest billions of dollars in expanding so-called health care in the U.S. That is a racket. A racket. We all know that. Among other programs. Programs? Nope. They invest in safety measures and training at schools, plus other school violence prevention efforts. The best school violence prevention effort is return to Christianity and fathers in the homes and actual marriage and not no-fault divorce stuff. A lot of these children of divorce or children of weak fathers, right? True. How are people reacting? Sleepy Joe Biden said if it passes in Congress, yesterday's bipartisan approach, meaning evil. Bipartisan almost always means evil. Maybe it's always. Would be the most significant gun safety legislation. They're using the term gun safety now, right? Stupid. In decades. Don't fall for it. Gun safety orgs, including March for Our Lives, endorsed the deal. The NRA did not. Nice. Based? Not necessarily based. But hey, we'll take what we can get, right? Nowadays. Rejecting any effort to infringe on America's fundamental right to protect themselves and their loved ones. Nice. But it's just a framework. They haven't even made any legislation. But it's a mess. It's sick. I wonder which Republicans it is. Can we name them? I mean, it's basically all of them are a mess. Chris Murphy is that guy who's a Democrat, a male Democrat, embarrassing. Senator from Connecticut. We should connect and cut him out of the country because he's against what's right. What a sicko. He was like the youngest senator at the time when he was first elected back in 10 years ago or so. I don't know. Let's see. Do they name them? Republicans. Okay. John Cornyn, Republican from Texas. Tom Tillis, Republican from North Carolina. Kirsten Sinema. Oh, gosh. Shameful. And some others, I guess. It was led by those people, though. I'm shaking my head. That's according to far-left AP so-called news. Chuck Schumer calling it a good first step. That is, so you know how it's a bad step. Mitch McConnell, the rhino from Kentucky, he praised the bargainer's work and said he's hoping for a deal that makes significant headway. The government, the federal government, this is not a federal government issue, in my opinion. Yeah, it happens around the country, but the federal government has made things worse. Right? This is only expanded in liberal societies. But no, and then they use it as an excuse to go after the rights of the people. We need to return to morality, right? No freedom without morality. Morality. So shameful. So this gun control stuff, you all know this. It's evil, right? I have a ton of super chats to read, guys. I saw people were saying about my T-shirt, unfortunate branding or advertisement. I feel funny because this NY is so big. And by the way, even though it's a jersey, it was called a jersey. It's just a 100% cotton T-shirt. I like that it's 100% cotton. Very nice. I'm gonna get to this, maybe this climate hysteria, and I have to. You know what? I have to get to this. Let me play this thing before I get to calls. Hang tight, callers. I will get to you. Is this true? It has to be true because I heard it from Chris over here. Let's replay this clip 10, I think, from the folder. Jack Del Rio. Remember this? I played this for you guys, I think, on Saturday. Defended his tweet where he calls it this is where he calls it a dust-up at the Capitol. You know, the mostly peaceful Capitol protest, January 6, 2021 AD, which they're holding hearings on it, like supposedly, I think today. They held like prime time hearing last week. They're going to have a couple more this week after today, and then another one next week or more. I don't know. It's a mess. They're smearing the president, right? And so this guy's like, where's all the hearings and stuff about the BLM, Obama's Black Lives Matter insurrection, to use JLP's words. He doesn't call it that. But this is a NFL, speaking of professional sports, can I get a Jack Del Rio jersey? I guess the defensive coordinators, do they have their own jerseys? I don't think so, but whatever. Under pressure, he took his statement back, but here's his spoken statement that you may recall Jack Del Rio talking to the media, some common sense stuff. Just a little reminder. And then I heard there's an update on this. Here, listen to this.
I just asked a simple question. Really, let's get right down to it. What did I ask? A simple question. Why are we not looking into those things? If we're going to talk about it, why are we not looking into those things? Because it's kind of hard for me to say I can realistically look at it. I see the images on TV. People's livelihoods are being destroyed. Businesses are being burned down. No problem. And then we have a dust-up at the Capitol. Well, there's nothing burned down. And we're not going to talk about, we're going to make that a major deal. I just think it's kind of two standards. And if we apply the same standard and we're going to be reasonable with each other, let's have a discussion. That's all it was. Let's have a discussion. We're Americans. Let's talk it through. I'm for us, having a great opportunity to have a fulfilled life. Like I said, every which way I can. When I'm here, it's about love and respect. I love my guys. I respect my guys. But I also love the fact that I'm an American, and that means I'm free to express myself, and I'm not afraid to do that.
So white, so boomer, or Gen X or boomer. He's 59, right? 6'4". 6'4"? That's like boomer, Gen X, white man talk. A little bit of common sense, a little too fair, in my opinion. A little too even-handed, in my opinion. But he's right. He tweeted an apology, but I clicked to look at the apology, like the tweet, and apparently it looks like this guy deleted his Twitter or deactivated it or something. Yeah, he deleted his Twitter. Well, what in the world? So I do have his tweeted apology. Let's see. June 8th. I made comments earlier today referencing the attack that took place on the United States Capitol January 6, 2021. Referencing that situation as a dust-up was irresponsible. No, it wasn't, man. And negligent. No, it wasn't. And I am sorry. No, you're not. I stand by my comments condemning violence in communities across the country. I say that while also expressing my support as an American citizen for peaceful protest in our country. I went over this last Friday, right? I have fully supported all peaceful protests in America. I love, respect, and support all my fellow coaches and players and staff that I work with and respect their views and opinions. And so this guy has now deleted his Twitter account, and I heard from a very reliable source that this guy was fined by his team $100,000. Is that true? Chris, can you confirm this? Let me bring Chris in here.
Yeah. So it was just randomly. I think I just saw it on Telegram, but it was just a link. It was a link to an article. So, I mean, I looked further into it, and there's several outlets reporting it. New York Post, several sports outlets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I saw it maybe on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fined him $100,000.
$100,000. NBC
and he
Sports.
he deleted his Twitter.
Deleted his Twitter. ESPN, Washington Commanders, Jack Del Rio. Commanders. Give me a break. It's the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Deletes his Twitter account after controversy over his remarks. They call anything controversial that's like mildly true. Or, I mean, anything that's inching away from the careen towards total destruction.
Yeah. Well, they are the generators of controversy.
Yeah.
They manifest controversy.
Right.
This didn't have to be anything.
Right. I know.
I don't know where this press conference was even held.
I know.
Was he just doing? I know sports teams, they just do these little briefings with media outlets, so the sports outlets have something to comment on.
Right. Yeah. True.
So, for the most part, those things should just stay there, just on the sports outlets, and that's where they belong. But then the rest of the media gets a hold of it, and that turns into a real dust-up.
Yeah. Comparing the 2020 protests in the wake of the death of George Floyd to the insurrection. Talk about fake news at the U.S. Capitol, January 6, 2021. The one-time it's literally a dust-up.
Yeah.
It was. That is accurate.
Yeah, just a dust-up. I will say that it's unfortunate that he's having to go through this, and he shouldn't have apologized.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier this morning, but the sequence of events is just so brutal.
Yeah.
Just
predictable.
It's very predictable
right.
too. He just says something very blasé, common sense. Doesn't really make any kind of there's no controversy about anything that he said.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, basic take. Then the media drags him. I'm sure he gets all kinds of hate for that. And then he apologizes, deletes his Twitter, and then gets fined $100,000. I mean, if that's not the current state of, the white man at large, then I don't know what is.
Yeah. That is so true. And it's really, we talk about, I say a lot, it's an attack on free speech. It's an attack on the truth.
Yeah.
It's an attack on whites, men.
Just reality.
Christianity, truth.
Just reality itself.
Yeah, the plain reality is, like you said, there's nothing untrue about what he said. And there's no real spin on it either.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, it's what comes to normal people's minds. They're like, wait a minute. For months, they were allowed to insurrect across the country. against the normal people. We do one little, not me, but they do one little thing, you know, some maybe slightly, I don't even know if they were that misguided. Some Trump supporters, some get a little maybe overexcited going to the Capitol building, and it's a setup, and they get slammed, and all of us get slammed.
Yeah, I mean, even that, you know, we shouldn't even have to present it like that.
I know.
It was a tea party,
right?
Compared to just, I mean, literal chaos and destruction.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not exaggerating. I mean, if you have eyeballs, if you have, you know, just basic senses,
yeah,
you can just look over the summer of 2020, and there's no other words to use. It's chaos, destruction.
Yeah.
I mean, just
murder.
Havoc, evil.
Yeah.
And the thing at the Capitol, they try to separate it because they try to make the government and the halls of Congress, and they try to turn it into this, you know, special.
Oh, this is so sacred.
Special place. These hallowed grounds. And
you interrupted a proceeding.
Yeah.
That's literally one of the crimes that they.
Yeah. Oh, interrupting a proceeding. Okay.
And it's supposed to be like a felony, I think.
Yeah, but even still,
right.
You know, there really wasn't that much violence overall.
Right.
You know, there was some
moshing.
Yeah. There's some moving about. I mean, these are men.
Right.
What are men to do? You know, when they're, you know,
when they feel their country is being taken away from them.
Yeah, in a troubling situation, there's going to be a little bit of rabble-rousing.
And they have legitimate grievances, unlike with Black Lives Matter. There was no legitimate grievance. It was
absolutely
nobody's business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Totally legitimate. You know, it's horseplay. This is about how boys, you know, this is how the boys play.
Right.
So, you know, let the boys be boys. I will say there is a white pill to take from this. And what's his name? Jack Del Rio?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have apologized.
Right.
But I do appreciate you just first and foremost putting that out there. Just putting it out there in the most like basic, simple way. Like, hey, come on, man. Like, it wasn't that bad. The January, you know, or the 2020, that was crazier. George Floyd, who cares about that guy?
Yeah.
I will say because he is pretty, I would call him like a normie, basically.
Right. Yep.
He is a coach on a NFL team.
Yeah.
You know, he's in the system, quote unquote. The
True.
white pill is that I guarantee you, if he's thinking that
and saying it,
I would say the majority of not just white people, but just the majority of people,
right,
in general, believe or understand to some degree like what he said was true, and they probably think along the same lines.
Yeah.
So at least there's that. Again, they control every apparatus.
Yeah.
To make us think that we're crazy. They gaslight us. So, you know, it's ground zero stuff, but you got to start somewhere. So you start with the truth. You start with, oh, that is what people are thinking. People do at least know the truth or have an inkling of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, now we just got to build off of that.
You know, you talk about, we've heard about accelerationism, right?
Right.
This is the kind of acceleration I like because this evil overreaction to a tame comment is like the evil overreaction to Trump. Trump is just another normie guy.
Yeah.
Who people felt like because he was talking like a normal normie boomer guy, white, they thought that he was one of them, all into the white thing or whatever.
Right.
When he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
And the overreaction to him, the evil overreaction to him, opened a lot of people's eyes. And I think that that's probably happening here to anybody who's paying attention.
Yeah.
Like you said, that white pill.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, there's two, you know, as you say, like the good kind of acceleration.
Right.
First of all, anybody to the left of a rhino is an accelerationist.
Right.
They are the accelerationists.
Yeah.
So
the rhinos themselves.
yeah, they're accelerationists.
Right.
So, you know, it's already happening itself. The train's already going off the cliff.
Yeah.
So that it is what it is. But yeah, as you were saying, of these scenarios like the Trump situation and this Jack Del Rio guy, it's absolutely true. And this is kind of what I was talking about when we were in that disagreement with Joe from Idaho. about.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're talking
nice to.
Yeah, we're trash talking Nancy Pelosi. Like
Right.
that's part of, you know, it's heightening the situation.
Yeah.
You know, it's heightening your senses. Like, whoa, this guy's like saying seemingly radical stuff. Like this, we're being so tame. We're being so PG.
Yeah. Whoa,
I mean,
you can see her skull through her face.
They called Nancy Pelosi ugly? What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's part of, you know, what we're trying to do is just, you know, create that that type of scenario.
Sometimes it's valuable, I've noticed, to point out the obvious.
Yeah.
Which I think I learned that from Jesse, because sometimes you want to not point it out, or the people who want to stay within the lines and stay unoffensive will not point out the obvious.
Yeah.
They think that they can just let it sit and people will notice. But no, it's like the boy had to say, the emperor has no clothes.
Yeah.
In order for
What's
people to
going on here?
wake up. That's cool.
But yeah, that's a great observation there about the accelerationism.
Yeah.
They're the accelerationists. All we can do is just, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do, so we just got to try to do our own thing, let them lean into it.
Right.
And we just will stay here in reality, and we will move away from that.
Yeah. I wonder if that's kind of what the Bible means when it talks about it's good for a man to lead like a quiet life. Because that guy is a quiet guy. And Trump, even Jesse, like in his life, he's quiet. He'll be loud sometimes when it's appropriate to be loud.
Right.
But people just, like one simple word just makes the evil people just go nuts.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it meant by that, leading a quiet life, but also fighting evil. But not being like over-aggressive with fighting evil. Because some people think that they have to do something that they don't have to do. Oh, we need a civil war. Matt Walsh, lead us into civil war.
Right.
Type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's putting the cart before the horse. I
Yeah.
mean, that's even like putting it mildly, that barely holds up there. But yeah, no, I do know what you mean. I mean, like I said, we have the truth on our side. We have reality on our side. So that's really just, that is normal.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing. Sometimes we, as I say, we get, you know, we like to rabble-rouse a little bit and all that stuff. But realistically, we're just being completely normal.
Yeah.
And living here in reality. Everyone else is insane.
There's no need to overreact. Even as whites are like a declining population, you can't stamp out the truth. So I think that, you know, like with the China virus, you know how we had to shut down?
Right.
And, but if you stay quiet about things, you're going to keep pretty much out of trouble. You don't need to bring undue trouble on yourself. Yeah. So same thing with this other stuff. Nice.
Yes.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Thank you.
Man, poor Jack Del Rio. I mean, I think doesn't he make like $6 million a year or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is just a dent.
Yeah,
a mild dent.
I hope so. I hope he's paid quite well. Defensive coordinator. I mean, I think that's the third position from the head coach. I think it's the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the defensive coordinator.
Okay.
So I mean, he's
like the Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. So
of the Washington Redskins.
Probably paid pretty well. I mean, $100,000 is a lot of money, but you know, hopefully that doesn't like set him way back or anything like that. But it's more the principle of the fine.
For sure.
As far as like just pure numbers go, I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
He didn't lose his job or anything, so.
Big Bump said, you can get a number 55 Minnesota Vikings Del Rio jersey. He led the team in tackles every year in Minnesota. Nice, man. Thank you for the tip.
Oh, he played in the NFL?
I guess so. Let me see. Let me just double check this. I mean, I'm sure that Big Bump wouldn't give me false info either.
A lot of coaches did play.
Right.
That's usually that's a lot of what they do.
He played college football as a linebacker. And then he was drafted by the New Orleans Saints in '85, and then played for 4 other NFL teams before retiring in '96. Okay, nice. Minnesota Vikings.
Noted.
Right on. Number 55. Take note. I want all the Hakers to get your number 55 Minnesota Vikings Del Rio jersey. Hakers, I got that from Chrissy. Shout out to Chrissy. She's called in before. Thanks again, Chris. Right on.
You bet.
Much needed expertise from Chris and Big Bump. Shout out, guys. I'm going to get to your super chats, guys. Lots of super chats have come in from Streamlabs over the past day or so. But first, I got to get to D, a first-time caller in Michigan. D, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
I'm doing well.
Nice.
Hey, I just wanted to say I love your new show, man. I didn't know about you until Jesse promoted you. So.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I've been at this. It's not exactly new. It's relatively new compared to Jesse's show.
Well,
but yeah,
me.
no worries, man. I appreciate you tuning in, and thanks for the feedback.
Excellent. Do you get a lot of shit for that Confederate sticker on your laptop?
Well, keep it clean because there are kids listening. But no, I don't get too much.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't get too much hatred or flack for it. In fact, sometimes I forget that I have it there. But people do sometimes when I wear it.
Beliefs, then...
When I wear the Confederate T-shirt, because I have one, then I do get more calls.
It's kind of what I'm looking at right now. It's like a contradiction. Like you have the Nike symbol.
I know.
So
New York Yankees. Yankees? What in the world? Forget the Yankees. But it's we have to love the South. I mean, we don't have to, but we better love the South if we want a unified
I never found
America.
out like how much I love the South until I started listening to Ryan Donaldson. Are you aware of who he is?
I've heard that name before. Is he a liberal?
No, he's so good. He exposes a lot of like government corruption.
Oh, okay.
And, he's mostly known for like 9/11 conspiracies, and he knows the truth about that. But
all right,
he's always getting a bunch of like kooks that just ruin like the truth, you know.
Oh, okay.
Because people like they get like some idea and they say, "Oh, this is what happened. There was like holograms and stuff," and that's a totally like ridiculous idea. But we know the truth, but you have to like be on your guard as an educated person to say, "No, that's not really what happens. We need to like be realized."
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm rambling, but
you know, there was a guy who Nightwave Radio, whom I listen to sometimes. Mersh over there. He said that he didn't really return to Christianity until he saw the attack on Christianity, and he looked at the types of people who most attack Christians and Christianity, and they're the most disgusting people. So he said, "Oh, you know what? Maybe there's something to this Christianity stuff. Let me get back to this." And so the same thing with the South. The South are hated because the South are decent.
Well, what was his answer? What kind of people?
Oh, it's, I mean, he says that it's all kinds of degenerates and stuff, to put it nicely, to put it in PG terms.
That's what you say to your kids and stuff, but we're adults. We can say, like, if there's a certain people.
I mean, there are kids listening to the show, so we don't have to get too explicit.
So we got to be...
But, yeah, it is some of the worst people. And they're not decent. They're not loving people at all. You know, the Christian haters.
Yeah,
some of them are just bitter.
But...
Some of there's some honest people out there who are just bitter. They're traumatized.
Of course.
The Christians,
we all know that.
The Christians aren't perfect, many of us either. So they've done.
Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to make it to a racial argument or anything. So. But anyways, I love your show. So
nice, man. Appreciate the call. Take care.
Yeah, I listen to JLP when I can.
How'd you find JLP?
I've known about it. That's a good question. Probably on YouTube, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Nice, man.
And now that he's on Cozy, it's like
oh, right on, man.
I can just say,
yeah,
I'm just gonna go listen to Jesse. It's like a routine almost.
Yeah, that's cool. I hope to be on Cozy one day too. That's a dream of mine.
You keep saying that. Do you think it's gonna happen?
It may happen in due time. If and when it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Are you just saying that for a meme, or is that, like, are you refused? Or are you trying to get in there? Or
no. There's I've submitted a request, but there are busy times right now. There's a lot of shakeups and things going on, so I'm not hounding them or anything. And
I think ever since you've been saying that, they brought on a couple other new channels.
Right, but those I'm sure they were in
for some reason.
No, I don't think it's anything like that. I think that it's those they were already in talks with, and some of them are like they had some high-profile bannings on Twitch and stuff like that. So, in fact, I was saying it before I even submitted a request. So, you may have been. Yeah. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, man.
As much as I can advocate, I hope it happens.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, and don't speculate, and there's no drama, there's no ill will in any direction.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
How do you feel about living in? Hello.
Yeah. Living in what?
L.A. Isn't that where you're from?
Yeah, I like it. I like living here. I don't like what's happened to it, but kind of like Trump, he loves his country. He doesn't like what's happened to his country. So that's how I feel about it.
Have you ever been to Michigan? Because that's where I'm calling from.
I don't know if I've ever been to Michigan. I've been around the country, but I don't know if I've been to Michigan specifically.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go, tour around.
One day. Hopefully soon.
One day.
Set something up and get Jesse to speak out there.
Who?
Jesse Lee.
Oh, Jesse. Okay.
Yeah. Like if you're a part of any group or you want to join any group.
We don't need Jesse to just be bros and appreciate nature. And
I know, but it's that much more enticing or that much more likely to happen if it's a work-related trip, So, just an idea, man.
Well, you have your career and everything, so I get that. But
yeah, I'm busy, so
I shrugged off all the corporate chains, I guess you could say.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago. So.
Well, how old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
Guess how old I am.
I would have guessed you were in your mid-20s.
Everyone says that. I'm almost 40.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
So I got that. That's a really positive thing I have going for me, so I can't let that go, I got to stay positive.
Your independence. Well, cool, man. Right. Call me again sometime, D. It's good to hear from you.
Why do you call me D?
This is what this is what your name says is D. Is that what you called yourself?
No, it was the producer or whoever.
Oh.
Can I say my name on air? It's not offensive. It's DELFRICKENTREE. That's what I've said for 20 years now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it was censored.
He says that you gave him some long screen name that he didn't understand, so he's told you that he's just going to put down D.
He doesn't understand. It's my screen name, and he wanted my real name. I told him, but
and then he told you. So now you do know why he said it because he didn't understand all that. He can't.
Okay.
He can't.
Well, sorry for the misunderstanding.
No worries, man. We'll talk again. Tree, something, whatever you said.
DELFRICKENTREE. How hard is that?
DELFRICKENTREE.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care, man.
All right. I'll call back. Thanks.
Sounds good. All right. Bye. That was interesting. Man, let me get to Jared in Missouri here on the line. Has a question from the Bible. What's up, Jared? How are you doing?
What's up, James? How you doing, man?
Doing fine, thank you.
That was an interesting conversation.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah. So I was wondering what you think about the scripture that says, the wicked shall be destroyed by the turning away of the righteous.
Oh, did I hear this question on Nick's stream one time?
Yeah, that was me.
You asked this question on Nick's stream.
Yep.
Shout out to Nick's stream. Did he stream on Saturday? I don't know where I was Saturday.
This was, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Right, yeah. I remember that. Well, I'm just wondering if because Nick's stream didn't go live on Friday at 4 p.m. like I falsely advertised. Sorry, guys, I baited and switched you. Hake news is fake news. What a shame. Anyway, the wicked will be destroyed by the turning away of the righteous?
Yep.
I can think of different ways that's true, I suppose. I'm not sure exactly what it means by turning away of the righteous. The righteous people turning away from the wicked, that may help destroy the wicked, yeah. Because
I can use this dude as that you covered. I keep forgetting his name, the football coach.
Del Rio? Jack del Rio.
Jack del Rio as an example of what that scripture is talking about. Because people don't realize the scripture is important. There's a difference between knowing your Bible and knowing the scripture. There's so many ancient texts that God's Spirit spoke through that aren't even in the Bible. But if a person doesn't have the Holy Spirit, then, I mean, it's like a puzzle. You have to put together a little here, a little there, and because God's not going to reveal his plans to the wicked. So only those with the Spirit can put together the puzzle and understand the plan of God. That's the way I see it. But the turning away of the righteous, I'll use Del Rio as an example. He may have said truth, what everybody's thinking, but that's not good enough in this time. Like, he's got a position. God put him in a position where he has influence and he's renowned. He's a person of renown. But when you have so much more responsibility and there's so much more burden in that kind of situation, he could have been like David in front of Goliath and said, you know what? I don't care about my career. I don't care about all the money I might lose. I'm going to take a leap of faith, and I'm going to boldly state what everybody's thinking. Because doing this little wimpy act where it's like, oh, come on, this isn't right, that ain't going to do nothing. That ain't going to do nothing for nobody. And you're going to end up losing everything anyway. So my point is, he's not turning away from the wicked and their system. We have to, find a way as a whole to cut ourselves loose from desiring what comes with the system.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
That may be a good example. I'm not sure. It may well be. It's easy. I notice that it is easy for us, because it's kind of true, to point out how he is weak. But we're not in his situation. We don't know what it's. I don't know. We're not in the pressures that he's in, and we have to watch ourselves too, because there's small ways where we compromise and cave and live weak lives ourselves with little things. This is a big example, and it's a potentially, shaking people up, shaking people awake example. But there's small things in our lives that we have to watch so that we're ready for when the big stuff happens too. And with the small stuff is so important, to...
It's more important in my opinion.
Yeah. Like JLP says, the moment is important because that's when all things happen. So...
Yeah, and I don't want it to come across like I'm judging, man. I don't even know.
No, you're fine.
I'm just judging the situation where we're at a point where it's like I dove into the scriptures, right? But I didn't do it.
So what verse is that? Because I can't find it when I search it.
I don't remember verses. The wicked shall be destroyed by the turning away of the righteous.
I don't know if that's even in the Bible.
It is. Oh, it's in the scripture. You have to just Google the exact phrase.
I did.
It'll pop up.
I Googled it, which is Google is evil. The wicked will be destroyed by the turning away of the righteous. I see Proverbs 1:32-33. It says, because you hated knowledge, and this is from the Message, but the Message is so bad.
In one of the
because you hated knowledge and had nothing to do with the fear of God, because you wouldn't take my... Oh, man. Let me read a real translation. Terrible. Proverbs 1:32, King James Bible. Let's see here. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them.
There it is. That's one. And that's
not there. It is. That's not that. That's not what you said.
Simple means pure.
No, simple doesn't mean pure over there. Simple means foolish.
No. Simple means pure in that context. You can look it up. It means pure, simple.
No, man.
Undefiled. Yeah.
The faithlessness of the naive will kill them.
Yeah.
Naive,
there's
simple.
Simple as in stupid.
Simple means naive here. Inexperienced. Simple. Children. In one case.
Well, God says we have to come to Him and become as
thoughtless
little children. Right?
The waywardness of the thoughtless shall slay them. Yeah. I don't think you're thinking it's righteous, but simple doesn't mean righteous in this case.
No, I'm telling you, if you take a little more in depth, if you really want to know, it's in there. It's in the prophets.
Whatever,
what
man.
I'm talking about. It is, man. And I'm telling you, we gotta separate ourselves from this system. The system it's like the universal law. This is the way.
I think what you described is more what Jesse talks about is the ego, the false attachment to worldly things.
Exactly.
But that's 100%. Not the system. You can still work in the system.
Yeah, but
you're in the system, but not of the system.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not saying you just like become a hermit. What I'm saying is like the attachment, the desire to want to be accepted, the desire to want to continue in what we have, because we have to accept that the old world is gone. It's gone. It ain't coming back. Everything we knew growing up, it's gone. And what's coming is it's not new. Like I said before, it's pre-flood governance. I hate to be radical, man, but I'm just going to call things the way they are. You know, all the myths of old, the Greek myths, the Asian culture, Chinese myths, all that stuff, if you compare all of them, they all talk about the same things, just with different titles and ways to say it.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Well, take care, Jared. Call me again sometime.
All right, buddy.
All right.
You have a good one, man.
You as well. Nice. Let me get to some super chats, guys. I have a ton of super chats to read. There's one line open, everybody. But there are some things to get to. First, from someone, gave a super chat. The Bond Substack is great. Rebuildingtheman.substack.com. It's free. Church transcript has a couple errors. Indigenous is misspelled. It's supposed to be indigenous, I think. And thank you should have been thank you. Thank you, someone. Appreciate the checking that out. Yeah, the church summaries are on the Bond website as well as the Bond Substack. Based America First with a slew of super chats on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Jacinda Ardern has more in common with AOC than just horse teeth. You know, Alexandra Cortez, Sandy Cortez. New Zealand announced the world first plan to tax cow and sheep burps. Globalist control and stupidity. Yeah, Jacinda Ardern is the female prime minister of New Zealand. How embarrassing, huh? I was interviewed on the Big Hairy News, BHN, by this guy, Pat Brittenden. Brittenden, I believe, is how it's spelled, how it's pronounced. He's a guy from New Zealand. He says he follows Christ's teachings. He doesn't call himself a Christian because in that world, you know, the showbiz world, Christianity, being Christian means being homophobic and sexist and racist or whatever. I don't know. So he wants to distance himself from that. But anyway, I was interviewed by him for 2.5 hours, more than 2.5 hours. That was last week, and it came out Friday early morning, my time. Friday late night, his time. And Base America First is reacting to that. Watched BHN, BAN, not to be confused with BHN. BHN, a.k.a. NPC, non-player character. You have the patience of a saint. Disappointing but unsurprising that Brittenden didn't have a single original thought and could merely parrot globo-homo talking points and studies he agrees with that he finds on Huffington Post, Washington Post. But yeah, true. Same thing, right? Base America First goes on. Matthew 19, Jesus explains marriage between one man and one woman and is this way since the beginning. Brittenden says marriage owned by the state, defined by the majority, disagrees. Christianity is weak, then says it's judgmental, homophobic, and hypocritical. Wow. Brittenden, this is the guy the host of, it's on DOC Studios channel, by the way, on YouTube. Check it out. It was mildly interesting. I was quite interested as I was doing it. Brittenden attended music-based charismatic church, says New Zealand is a British Christian colony. British, parentheses, that means Christian colony, but not a Christian nation. He doesn't say that he's a Christian due to negative connotations, but follows Jesus' teaching. All but the one about marriage, apparently. He goes on, Hake would be less concerned about immigration if he just had dinner with immigrants. He's mocking Brittenden's notions, right? Totally clueless about LA demographics. Thinks 1 million yearly immigrants isn't much, ignores illegal immigration, says the rest of the world isn't like the United States. We don't want it to be. We don't want to be like the rest of the world. Indeed. Base America First goes on, New Zealand had no land animals when the British arrived, but Aboriginal people lived there for 60,000 years? 60,000 years of quail sounds great. Maybe God sent manna. Criticizes Hake for wanting 80% plus white country, but New Zealand is 71% white. Few Hispanics and black. Wow. Base America First goes on, New Zealand has no right to free speech, no right to self-defense, no right to privacy, no right to property. Brittenden thinks it's great. Foreign nationals must petition the government to buy land. Certainly no corruption there. Oh, yeah, good point. When you give that to the power to the government. Ardern, Jacinda Ardern is the most popular prime minister in history. 55%. Yeah. But New Zealand chooses the party, not the prime minister. Yeah, that's strange. Brittenden says New Zealand punches above its weight. LA County is larger. And is a world leader on changes for good, quote unquote good. Global homo changes, taking away the gun rights and all that stuff. Meanwhile, maybe because Ardern is a WEF, Young Leader, World Economic Forum, you know, that's those evil people that wanted to do the Great Reset, and a puppet of BlackRock globalists, yet he thinks what Ardern says also doesn't impact the United States. What Hake says is opinion, but what Brittenden says is objective fact. He thinks children are educated by parents what is natural. Hake recounts a story of a kid with two mothers who disagrees with the two mothers thing. He knew it was wrong. Even though it was, I was telling this story to him. It was praised. You know, like, they went to school, like, in the Bay Area. You know, San Francisco area. This young man went to school in the San Francisco area, and the mothers, the teachers were like, oh, you have two mothers? That's wonderful. They celebrated him more, obviously, than the normal straight kids. I mean, children of normal parents. What a shame. Brittenden says study data don't support that anecdotal evidence. I know. What a shame. Studies don't tell you the truth. What a mess. Thank you, Based America First, for checking that out. DELFRICKENTREE with a super chat on Odyssey, odyssee.com/@the Hake Report says, beep. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. That's funny. All right. Let me quickly get to William in California. He's been on hold forever. William, how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm all right, man.
Nice.
I kind of stayed. I've been listening. I've been tuning in. I've been a little busy and everything. I heard somebody asking if I was all right. I am all right.
Nice.
Yeah, that what you just said a few minutes ago, raised in San Francisco and got a teacher that teaches you that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and saddle up, as we say, the cowboy days. Saddle up. I've stayed away about 5 days and purposely sent you in 5 days about 14 stories of mass shootings in black communities.
Wow.
Just to see if the black community would improve in 5 days. You got 14 and 11-year-olds getting caught in Florida stealing guns and ammunition. You got all this stuff that nobody's addressing. You got all these single-parent homes in the black community with these test tube babies running around, and it's just out of control. The so-called insurrection, if you knew anything, that was a right to address the government about something they didn't agree with.
Good point.
But they seem to ignore all of the fires and campuses and communities that were burned to the ground that same year.
Yeah, true.
And I think you did have someone from the Nation of Islam calling in to Jesse had the nerves to say, where did you get this thing about George Floyd being a drug addict? That's not true. First of all, what are you doing going to prison and to resort to something like the Nation of Islam? That makes you a simp. I don't know who it is, but you're a simp. Another simp that lives with his girlfriend talking about he's doing yard work. He ain't doing yard work. You're a simp too, because the thing is
he's reacting for those who didn't catch the JLP show, he's reacting to a caller who said that he does yard work.
Give me some information on yard work.
To salvage some of his masculinity.
You're doing gardening. That's what you're doing. Women do gardening. You're doing gardening while your woman's at work. Stop living in, and this is William from California, saddling up. Stop living in women's houses.
Yeah, it's good advice, man.
Stop being simps. Be men. Boy, be a man in a man's world sometimes, boy. You can't even change a tire. These men are useless. I don't know where these guys come from. You got another group, the Israelites, the black Hebrew Israelites. You ain't got a dog in this fight because you ain't even got a country. You ain't got a flag. You ain't got a country. You're getting kicked out of Israel.
Are they getting the black Hebrew Israelites have been tried to go to Israel?
They've been trying to get them people out of there forever. Yeah, man, they're ridiculous.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah, then you got another story I sent you where the Proud Boys went into a library in San Lorenzo, which is no more than 20 miles south of Oakland. They walked into a library. Here we got a bunch of transgenders telling stories to little 4-year-olds. So here's how the librarian told KTVU, Channel 2 News, what happened. It says, the Proud Boys are a right-wing hate group. No, see, that's how they're going to describe it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this
librarians, man.
Yeah,
I've known some librarians.
The commie ways that we have in the Bay Area. You see this story on the Channel 2 News app, you have nowhere to comment on it. They don't allow you to have your First Amendment.
Yeah.
And so, Bobby in Texas, thank you for the 2,000 mules. That is a must-see for everybody.
Nice.
You know, Blazing Hogs and Red Dirt Farm and Lord Brim, good morning. All the other Patriots, good morning. But I'm saddling up. Stop being simps. Be men.
Thank you kindly for the tips.
Jack Del Rio was a beast as a player.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I don't like white people to do. You stand up like you did.
Right.
And you stand by your comments.
Yeah.
Whether I agree with them or not. Because you see, he has 70% of his players are black. So he's kowtowing to them.
It's more than just the players. I have to assume it's more than just the players, but
correct.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Stop that.
Yeah,
stop that. Stop that. And that's just what you just got to stop that.
Yeah.
No real black person. I'm not talking about African Americans.
I know.
No real black person wants you to sit up there and take up for them.
Right. It's true.
I don't need you to take up for me.
I know, and the
Jack
BLM
Del Rio
mess
to stand up with his comments. You look, we got the Golden State Warriors, the San Francisco Warriors, and the Boston Celtics are in the finals. They had a game the other day that was just off the chain. It was good. The commentators, they got 2 NBA players that used to play in the league. They're commentating. They're talking about the game, post game. You got a woman sitting in the middle of those two. They know everything they're talking about. The woman is sitting there quiet as a Catholic church mouse. Don't know what they're talking about. Why do you have these women involved with this stuff?
Oh, you want a pretty face on the screen? You want a pretty face. That's why.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They don't even know what they're talking about.
True. I know. But I appreciate it, William. I got to go. Good to hear from you.
Appreciate you too, man. Keep up the good work.
Take care. Guys, we are at the top of the hour. It's time for some music. I disavow, as always, the hidden cameras. But this track, don't listen to the lyrics, ever. Okay? I'll be right back in a few minutes. It's time for the hidden cameras. Okay? Children, leave the room. That's what I'm going to do. Be back in a few. Enjoy, guys. And I'll be right back, you musical Philistines. Well, wasn't that nice, guys? I liked it. I mean, it's catchy. Other than that, I disavow. Did that cat give consent to be filmed? Well, he was in public, on a public sidewalk, so he didn't have to give consent. That cat is high. Yeah, we were showing video. I was showing video of Hake is the new Steve Irwin. You know, animals that I came across. Muted. Kids, do not listen to Hake's satanic ritual mess. Says Nugget Man. Not the music. Indeed. There was something else I wanted to read from here. Just make sure that I get to these. Hake plays more music than MTV, says Dan from Earth. Yeah. Very true. Wayne said on the Facebook crew, a 6-year-old slave made your t-shirt, allegedly. I know. Base slavery. Or not. Is this Justin Bieber singing? Poor Justin Bieber, huh? Like half his face was paralyzed. Is that going to stay that way, or what's going to happen? Or is it going to get worse? I don't know. And was it related to what people think and speculate that it may have been related to? Don't know. Don't know. Can't say for sure, right? I can't. At least not on air. What a mess. Okay. I love the simultaneous disavowing and showcasing. Very postmodern, Hake, says Chef Gummy D. I know. What a mess. Blame it on my college so-called education. I went to a Christian school, so-called Christian school. Anyway. Oh, man. Okay. If I don't get to this, callers, hang tight. If I don't get to this, I'm not going to get to it, and I want to get to it. This is from the far-left female-run outlet, The Skim. Patriot Front. Are they a front? I have no idea. I'm not going to say anything bad about them because I have no idea. On Saturday, 31 members of a white nationalist group, according to them, right? Very fake news, were arrested near a pride event in Idaho. Isn't that backwards? Shouldn't they be arresting the vulgar display people, the public obscenity, indecency? You know? That's what I would do if I were boss of the world. Arrest those people. And look at how they display these people, all public. It reminds me of, you know how Antifa hates Andy Ngo, who exposes Antifa. Andy Ngo is a journalist, liberal journalist, who is not a fan of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, right? And they hate him too. But he exposes any time like the Antifa get arrested and things. Whereas the mainstream media doesn't, but the mainstream media goes after the whites when the whites get arrested. These guys all dressed up similarly. Very uniform-like. And they may well be upstanding young men. I have no idea, right? There were mugshots of them. It looks like a bunch of whites and white Hispanics to me. Not sure. After receiving a tip, police found men... Well, let me play this clip. This is clip 11. These arrests come as state legislatures across the country have reportedly introduced more than 300 anti-LGBTQ plus bills this year alone because these people were showing out at a so-called pride rally or event, parade, disgusting display, false pride in the LGBTIQ mess. You know, lesbians, radical homosexuals, radical transgender agenda people, pushing this stuff in front of children, pretending that they're the family-friendly ones. No. And so these guys showed up, apparently, and there's been drama around Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This is Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, one of the last places that the whites and Christians go to be Christian and white, right? But this CNN article says, this is the end of the CNN article. The 31 people arrested in Idaho have ties to a white nationalist group and planned to riot at a pride parade, police say. I don't know about that. Maybe they planned to be ready if Antifa were to attack them. Maybe. Anyway, Coeur d'Alene residents and businesses have long made it clear that the city is, quote, too great to hate, unquote. Cringe. Going back to the early aughts, that means the early 2000s, when the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, helped the city shut down an Aryan Nations group with a compound north of the city, according to some person telling Commie Nonsense Network CNN. So evil, huh? They can't stand your existence. You know, this guy, before I play this clip, I'm just going to tell you like a little bit of context around how people think. I was talking with, I think I was talking to the New Zealand guy. You know, DOC Studios. He said, those people don't care what you think. And I'm like, you know, as in when I say so-called same-sex marriage is not real, it's not a real marriage. A real marriage is meant to produce life. When men and women come together, there's potential for life to come out of that. As in babies, right? Even among the barren, you know, when men and women can't have kids, sometimes a miracle happens and they have kids. It's a fact. Look it up. It's in the Bible. It's a fact. Okay, so I'm like, that's not true. Those people do care that I don't recognize their falsehood as truth. You know, they do care. That's why they chase out every white. They try to get rid of the so-called Aryan nations, which I have no idea what they're about. Not really. And they don't like Christians existing on Twitter and on the internet. They don't like Christians existing in America because Christians don't go along with their mess. Nor do whites, by and large. Nor do the men, by and large. Nor do children. That's why they have to brainwash them early. Target them early. And so I beg to differ. They do care. They're not about live and let live. They're not about that. Why can't you whites, men, Christians, just live and let live? We do that, and then they don't let us live and let live. What a mess. Anyway, here's this clip. It's 3 minutes long, over 3 minutes long. It's cringy. It's CNN. And also there's some false information here. I think it was a mistake, an honest mistake, if there is such a thing. Here's from CNN about these whites who were arrested. They don't mention anything about the disgustingness of the so-called pride display, but here it is. Listen to this.
New details today after police arrested more than 30 members of a white nationalist group in Idaho. Officers confronted the Patriot Front group on Saturday. There they are on their knees and arrested. Dozens were piled in the back of a moving truck. Police say they were traveling to a pride event where they were hoping to set off a riot. One of those taken into custody was a leader of the far-right faction. CNN's Shimon Prokopez is joining us with more. Wow. So police were able to intervene just in time.
Yeah, it certainly seems so. And it's all because of a tip, a concerned citizen, a person who saw them getting into this U-Haul at a local hotel. Dozens of people, the tipster described as getting into this U-Haul with masks and shields and all wearing the same clothing, khakis and a blue shirt. And so within minutes, police were able to intercept them and take them into custody. And that's the video you see there. They're wearing masks. Certainly very concerning. And I don't think that law enforcement has a full account yet of what these individuals were up to. And so what we're seeing is so far the local police, they're charging them with this misdemeanor count of conspiracy to riot. They were all charged and all booked, and their photos had just been released. I don't know if we have that yet, but police obviously wanting to get more information. The FBI is now involved as well, assisting in this investigation. And what we know, as you said, the leader of this group, a man that the Anti-Defamation League, this group is followed. Law enforcement certainly knows them. Other groups know of them. They describe them as a white supremacist group based out of Texas. And its leader, Thomas Ryan Rousseau, he's 31, also taken into custody with all these other individuals. And really, what police say, this is certainly very troubled. They believe they traveled from 11 different states, places like Texas and Utah, Colorado, South Dakota, Illinois, Wyoming, all over the country, and met at this location at a hotel. And really what they were up to is not entirely clear. They had other things in the U-Haul that police were able to find, like paperwork, which indicated some kind of operation plan, the masks, the shields, and certainly the fact that they were all dressed alike. The tipster, Amr, interestingly, described them as almost like a small army. But luckily, police were able to intercept them and take them into custody. And like I said, law enforcement really knows a lot about this group. They describe them as individuals who believe that their ancestors conquered America and bequeathed it to them. They first became known during the Charlottesville, Virginia rally, the Unite the Right rally in 2017, when they separated from another group that was there. So they've been on the radar of officials. And Amr, one of the things that officials are going to be asking is, how were they able to gather like this? Was there something missed by law enforcement officials that they should have caught? And obviously, still a lot more information needs to be known and exactly what they were up to. Many of them are expected in court on Monday, and the police there are saying that they could potentially face additional charges.
How are they able to gather? I thought that that was a basic right of Americans to gather. What in the world? I wonder what evidence they had that they were conspiring to riot, to start a riot. Why? Because Antifa would overreact at their presence, maybe? Like Antifa and Black Lives Matter overreacted at the presence of the whites at the Unite the Right thing. That was leftist violence. Leftist. Anti-white violence, anti-Christian, anti-American attacks, and they blame the whites for it. And some people say that these are feds. I have no idea. And I heard that they were kind of grew out of, like that guy who they said was 31, Rousseau, whatever his name is. He's 23. He's not 31. He's a young man. Energetic young man. And they're all into, being patriotic or whatever. Who knows what the real story is? Masked men. Well, they don't want to get doxxed. It's understandable. Kind of like Antifa nowadays. Antifa doesn't want to get doxxed, but these guys get doxxed for doing nothing illegal necessarily. Like I didn't hear any illegal thing that they did or had or said. Oh, they were wearing masks. They brought shin guards. Why would you have shin guards unless you're thinking self-defense? Shields. Why would you have shields unless you're thinking self-defense? You don't attack people necessarily with shields. It's primarily a self-defense thing. Helmets, self-defense. Smoke grenade, okay, whatever. Don't know. Long metal poles, like ones used by some U.S. Capitol rioters on January 6th, says this Lee White guy. Lee White is the chief of police at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. He's a carpetbagger. He's another phony politician, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong to say that. From Mesa, Arizona. Mesa, Arizona. He spent his years climbing up the ranks in Mesa, and then he transfers to Coeur d'Alene. I call that a carpetbagger, personally. I don't know. I couldn't say that he's a good or bad guy. Really. Anyway, by Sunday afternoon, all the men had posted bond, were free as they awaited arraignment later this week, per the sheriff's office there, county sheriffs. They rebranded after one of their members. This is what they're claiming. They're trying to lump this guy in with James Fields, the guy who overreacted, I guess, and drove into the crowd. He was scared. I think he was just scared. I don't know if he was maybe angry too. But he drove into that crowd in Charlottesville in 2017, and they charged him with a hate crime, and they convicted him of a so-called hate crime. What a shame. Pray for James Fields. Railroaded autistic young man. I think he's autistic, right? They're claiming that he was a member of Patriot Front, which was branded something else back then after, the Unite the Right thing. How can you say that he was a member? I think, from what I understand, nobody knew him. He just was on the internet, he saw this thing, and then went over there because he believed in it. And he got overexcited or scared or whatever. Young male, angry at times, had a history of anger at least, had gone after his mother. She called police on him because he was living with his mother, I think, at one point. Single mother, right? Those who study extremist groups, and they're referencing the SPLC, the ADL. You heard them mention the ADL credulously. Like they're decent. They're not decent. They make their living defaming the whites in America and Christians. They're definitely not Christians. We've been trying to sound this alarm since the Obama years, that these groups are starting to organize, and they're at the gates now, says Chris Braddock, who's a so-called professor at so-called American University, who studies violent extremist groups and their messaging. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this Patriot Front group, they've never been known for actual violence, have they? They're previously known as FBI, says Carver 531. I don't know. There may be some truth to that. I have no idea. These far-right extremists adhere to a hyper-masculine worldview. How about just masculine? Because LGBTQ is very effeminate, right? Trying to turn men into girls and women into, like, not ladies. Most of these men were in their early 20s, reside in states as far as Michigan and Arkansas. They were quiet and stoic. Yeah, somebody said in the chat, look at how cooperative they are. I mean, that's how whites are. They want to live, right? They're not about acting erratic. What crimes have these guys committed? What crime? I mean, they're charged with conspiracy to riot. Okay, if they were actually planning to riot, I accept. But it seems kind of like, to paraphrase Del Rio, kind of one-sided. Selective enforcement. They're not known for, according to their lawyer, Michael Keelty, according to Sky News, who's the lawyer for one of these guys, Wagner, Mitchell Wagner, 24 years old, of Florissant, Missouri. He was previously charged with defacing a mural of famous black Americans. I'm laughing. I disavow, but I laugh. On a college campus in St. Louis last year. Like, who of Antifa has been charged with defacing real American heroes, you know? The honorable monuments, right? Shameful. But this guy, the lawyer for him, says that he had not been provided information about the charges. He said Patriot Front did not have any reputation for violence. And this case could be a First Amendment issue. Even if you don't like the speech, they have a right to make it. Patriot Front is a white supremacist neo-Nazi group whose members perceive black Americans, Jews, and LGBTQ people as enemies, according to John Lewis, Jon, a George Washington University researcher who specializes in homegrown violent extremism. Well, yes, indeed. Many blacks are suckers for this, useful idiots for this. Many Jews are useful idiots for this evil. LGBTQ, pawns of Satan and his children. So, indeed. And who knows, if these guys are angry and caught up with that anger, they too are useful idiots, right? Then it's evil fighting evil. Don't be overcome with evil. But maybe these guys are totally innocent. It tends to be the case with this attack on the whites, the Christians, the men. They'll find like the odd case of somebody being a little off. You know, because they try to make you nuts. They try to drive you crazy with how evil and insane and stuff. And it drives some people crazy. The arrests come amid a surge of charged rhetoric around LGBTQ issues and a wave of state legislation aimed at transgender youth. No such thing, said John McCrosty, the first openly gay male, called himself a man, elected to the Idaho state legislature. What a shame. In Boise this week, dozens of so-called pride flags were stolen from city streets. Well, what's up with the city that's putting up that vulgar display? Whenever we are confronted with attacks of hate, we must respond with the message from the community that we embrace all people with all of our differences. No, you don't. That's what McCrosty said. The first openly gay man elected to Idaho state legislature. You don't embrace all people. Sunday also marked 6 years since the mass shooting that killed 49 people at Orlando LGBTQ club Pulse nightclub, says Troy Williams of Equality, Utah and Salt Lake City. That was a Muslim son of a Hillary Clinton supporter who was suspect. We don't know. We don't know what he was about. Omar Mateen. It may have been the equivalent of that young Christian male who shot up the Korean spas over in was that Atlanta area, or I forget where. It may have been that type of a thing where this guy was in that culture or world. Don't know. But that's what was the speculation. Our nation is increasingly polarized, and the result has been tragic and deadly. Be quiet. So they released the names of these guys, their faces, and they may not be guilty of anything. Anyway, seems off, in my opinion. But anyway, thank you guys for bearing with me through that. I wanted to get that out. Let me get to DJ in North Carolina on the line. DJ, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Hake. How about yourself?
Doing fine. Thank you. Thanks for holding.
Yeah, I want to talk about something else, but real quick. That video, it absolutely makes no sense because they committed no crime just because a bunch of people get together in the same uniform, getting in a vehicle. Like with shin guards and shields, they could have been going to a local paintball area or something like that. As long as they said nothing, a lawyer could have a field day with that case.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully they were smart and shut up. Sorry, kids,
oh yeah,
but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. But they were compliant, so hopefully blacks can learn from that.
Yeah, that would be nice
but
for everybody.
What I really want to talk about was I just wanted to make an announcement to all good whites that here in the South, we love good white people because all y'all do is build and make areas nice, and the roads here are great. Anything east of Texas and south of the Mason-Dixon, you are welcome. I know some of y'all homes may be in some of those beta states. I'm sorry, Hake, like California and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you just wait maybe a decade or two, just let them destroy the entire town. These people, they can't procreate because most of them are homosexual. So, they only recruit. So they're going to die out. They're either going to die out or destroy the cities, and there's going to be nothing left. And you can go back there and do what white people do and, recreate it and make it great again. But I'm just saying, if you come here to the South, have your wife stay at home so there's no ill-gotten gain.
Yeah.
Go to work, humble yourself. You don't need to put your salaries together and get this giant house and these super fancy cars. Just humble yourself. You come on down here to the South. I'm telling you, we love good white people.
Nice, man. Appreciate that, DJ. And we love the South. And there's some decent blacks in the South, I assume. Beyond even you. Nice.
Yeah. And honestly, and when we arm all of our teachers down here in the South and all of our kids protected and all their kids dying and they try to figure out why, we're just going to be like, hey, we told you. But we let y'all have the communities like y'all wanted.
Right. Yeah, it's really the federal government. It's not the federal government's job to protect the children. It is the local men's job to protect the children of the local community. And right now we don't have men. So they're not running 100%. The show. Yeah. I appreciate that.
I even talked to my friend about it yesterday. I was like, we have, at least what I would say, is the weakest society in history. And we also have the least amount of fathers in the home in history. I was like, I correlate that together.
Say that one more time.
I said, I would say that we have the weakest society in history, and we also have the least amount of fathers in the home in history.
Right.
I correlate that together.
Yeah, it is correlated for sure. Yeah, and even the fathers who are that's one of the signs. It's kind of like, the murder rates are really a symptom. They're not a problem. They're a symptom. The increasing murder rates across the country, and even the so-called mass shootings and all that stuff. Those are symptoms of the weakness of men and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And also for anybody who thinks that America doesn't hate white people, that group that got pulled over in the U-Haul, whatever it was, things like that.
Yeah.
Like when Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and all these groups, things like that were doing that. Where was all this law enforcement help and all these civilians calling in? Where was all this?
Yeah. Good point.
And that was for a criminal, George. A drug deal criminal. So
right.
I'm like, I'm like, so why can't we pull over a bus full of baseball players? The MLB, they got a bunch of bats.
I know.
Like, oh yeah, we can like we think they were going to go beat up, go to a mall and just go. Like it makes literally no sense. Like they just happened to get in a van or whatever it was, and they were going somewhere. Although they could have done a riot, you can't pull them over and be like, "Hey, we think you were about to do that."
Yeah. That's cool, man. I appreciate the call, DJ. It's good to hear from you.
Oh yeah, well I appreciate you taking my call. Hey.
All right, take care, man.
Not the fake news.
That's right. Except sometimes. All right, bye. Oh man. Okay. Oh. Okay. I didn't realize he was on the line. He's been on the line for some time, too. Joe in Idaho is on the line, guys. What's up, Joe? How you doing?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, too. Thank you.
I was wondering when you were going to get to me.
I know. I was thinking of you, and for some reason, I saw your name, but it just didn't register. It must be, it's Monday,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was down there.
Nice. Coeur d'Alene?
Yeah. Yep.
At this so-called Pride Festival. You were not for the fake Pride. You were for the decent people.
Yes.
Opposing
It was really good because there were probably 100 of us patriots down there protesting the degeneracy that was happening. And it was really good. It was a lot of church groups, different groups.
Yeah.
There were, and I saw some pretty disgusting stuff.
Yeah.
There were trannies walking around in, scantily clad.
Yeah.
Wearing very sexual outfits in front of little children.
Yeah.
And it was just disgusting. Yeah. But there were a lot of us there to protest. So, we made our presence felt. We were all very peaceful and very law-abiding. And I even joined a little prayer group. I'm not religious, as you know, but I joined a little prayer group there and sang hymns with a group of men.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very nice. And they were very, very, very good people, very nice people. There was some very brave souls there, some guys that were holding a large banner, very large banner that said, "Groomers are not welcome in Idaho."
Nice.
I don't know who these guys were. I talked to them briefly. I asked them if they were with a group. They said no, they're just friends. They didn't want to give their names. They had masks on because they don't want to be doxxed.
Yeah.
But some people were giving them a hard time. There were some Antifa people there that were doxing. There's a infamous Antifa person from Portland, Oregon that was there.
Is he that black guy?
People. No, it's a woman.
Okay.
Her name is, do you want me to say her name?
If she's famous, if she's like one of those professor ladies who's famous.
Yeah, she's kind of famous.
She's been mentioned by like Tucker Carlson
I'm
before,
not
maybe.
sure if Tucker has mentioned her, but she's been in the news a bit.
Okay.
I'll just say this, she's a well-known Antifa person because she doxes people, she attacks people. In fact, she has a pending felony case.
Okay, I think I have heard. You know what? I think we may have been in. Well, I don't want to say anything, but you can mention her name. What's her name, if you know it?
Alyssa Azar.
Okay, I think I have heard that name before.
So she was down there doxing people.
Wow.
And telling lies about people, taking everyone's photographs and then posting them on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's interestingly enough.
So they weren't picking fights though necessarily because they were outnumbered.
Yeah, exactly. They threatened to show up, but they only a few of them showed up because they knew that they would be outnumbered.
Wow.
So
I heard that there were 50 people actually parading, in the parade. So you guys outnumbered even the parade? Is that true? You said about 100 people? Or no?
There were about 100 of us, but I think there were more people in the Pride Festival.
Okay.
But it was very small. And I've been to other Pride festivals, and this was tiny.
Good.
Tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen neighborhood farmers markets that were bigger than this.
Yeah.
It was really small. But there, there was a lot of inappropriate things that were happening in front of children. In fact, I just saw from the local sheriff's department, they posted that they have been made aware of a performance that occurred during the recent Pride in the Park event wherein a dancer's genitals may have been exposed.
Yeah, sick stuff.
Yeah. So, but I also wanted to point out, it was interesting that that Antifa person from Portland, she just happened to be present when Patriot Front was being arrested, and that happened a few blocks away from the park where the Pride Festival was going on. So how did she know to be right there?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. Sounds like there's some inside.
It was a few blocks away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What a
who
mess.
knows?
Yep.
But
enemies
there was a large police...
within.
Oh, go ahead.
I said enemies
sorry,
within is probably why
possibly.
she knows, why she knew.
Yeah.
Man.
And there were some. I walked around the Pride Festival and I talked to some people at the booths. There was several church groups there, and I talked to one priest, and I asked him why doesn't he feel like the Bible's message conflicts with homosexuality?
Yeah.
He said because that doesn't make sense to me. He said that he has basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but he has interpreted the Bible's message differently than what it was originally meant as.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a mess. They'll come up with any
is a mess.
excuse.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think all in all, it was a really good thing, though, because there were a lot of us standing up for what was right.
Yeah.
And usually at these pride things, there's nobody. Maybe there's a couple of street preachers.
Right.
Maybe.
Yep.
But this one, there was 100 of us at least.
Nice. So I've been to way up the street here. There's been those things, and I see street preachers whom I know, like Brother Dean Saxton and Reuben Israel. They've both been on the JLP show multiple times.
I know of them.
And they're preaching their thing, and they have a few others with them. And there's these whole crowds who cannot ignore them. Of the radicals, they can't ignore them. They can't stand the truth being said at all. They don't want any light to be coming in, so they're screaming back at them and arguing and cussing and being vulgar and disgusting. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Well, I appreciate the report, Joe. What were you about to say?
There were a couple of street preachers at this event too.
Yeah.
With their big signs and everything. But they weren't attacking anyone, and actually, to be honest, for the most part, nobody attacked them.
Yeah.
A few people got into some heated discussions, but it didn't get out of control. I've seen, in Portland, I've seen things get out of control.
Yeah.
But this was relatively calm.
Well, I hope that you guys are able to stay there and fight it out and keep on standing for what's right. I appreciate that, man. It's good to hear from you, Joe.
All right.
All right.
Talking with you.
Take care, man. Joe in Idaho. Wow. I gotta get to my favorite caller, guys. Your favorite and mine, Maze in Dayton, Ohio, the sundown town. How you doing, Maze?
Oh, James.
Hey.
How are you?
Fine.
Oh, I took another trip, and I went to the Bible Belt. And guess what I was looking at while I was there? Oh, my voice, I guess I've been there too long. It started to sound like the people.
Are you? Well, yeah. You're trying to talk like a southern, like a beautiful southern white.
I saw a lot of crosses. I saw a lot of rebel flags.
Nice.
And I saw a lot of whiskey places.
A what?
I'm like, this supposed to be the whiskey places.
Whiskey places?
Alcohol. Yeah. I'm like, this supposed to be the Bible bed and see everything that's devilish here.
You think the rebel flag is devilish?
Oh, I saw a lot of those too. I said, Bible Belt, you shouldn't have a place where you make alcohol. you know. Like
I suppose. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not good to be drunk on whiskey and wine.
What's that got to do with the Bible? And it's the Bible Belt.
I know, it's called the Bible Belt because they're Christians.
Moses down in Egypt. You know, I felt like Moses down in Egypt laying. There with all them pharaohs walking around.
You felt that why did you feel like the whites were the pharaohs?
I don't see that many. I saw a lot of Indians. I saw a lot of people from India. I saw a lot of people Mexicans, and I saw a lot of everything. I guess they don't have it many.
And this was in Tennessee?
Yeah, Gatlinburg.
Are you coming in kind of muffled, Maze? Come closer to your phone.
It was Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg? Oh, okay.
And then, yes.
All right.
And so anyway, I was saying to myself, I said, now these gun enthusiasts that love the Second Amendment, I said, I don't like weapons. So if I had to have one, I want to find a state where I can buy me a tank. Can you tell me where I can buy one for my Second Amendment rights? Those military tanks?
You asked them? A cannon?
I'm asking you.
You're asking me where you can buy a cannon?
No, not a cannon, a tank.
A tank? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one that they use in the military. Yeah.
Maze, do you actually want a tank, or are you being silly?
For a Second Amendment right, that's what I want. Why won't you think they will let me have one?
Oh no! If you wanted a tank and
they want to
you can afford it. You can afford that? You're not on welfare, are you?
I could buy one to buy. Excuse me?
You're not on welfare, are you?
So you on welfare?
No.
I'm not begging nobody, asking nobody to give me nothing, so I guess I'm not on nothing.
Nice.
Not even a charity affair. No, not charity affair either.
Right.
I
That's
earned
good.
what I got.
That's nice.
Like I say, as I say, yeah. So if you can tell me what state will sell me one, and just for my Second Amendment rights, that's why I want one.
Well, the states are not supposed to sell you the tanks. I think the private businesses are supposed to
selling
sell them.
they're selling you all the other military weapons with your Second Amendment rights, and you don't even know it. To the people that think so.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. So I just telling you what I had when I went and the fun that I had with all the different people. I was not afraid of any of them.
Nice.
I just got sick of looking at the Bible Belt and all of the whiskey seals and the rebel flags and.
Well, just because it's the Bible Belt doesn't mean there's there are no non-Christians, or you know. And making whiskey is, I don't know if that's necessarily immoral. Just because you make it doesn't mean you get drunk on it. Having a little bit of whiskey is nice and hot on your throat.
No,
maybe?
It's not. A little bit is not good for you in no way.
No way? Not at all?
No.
All right.
No,
you're the health expert, so.
I don't drink, so it's not good for you at all.
Okay.
I don't smoke, and that's not good for you at all. So the Bible, when you're in the Bible Belt, you should be looking for the nice things and lovable things and happy things. You shouldn't be looking for some Looney Tunes over there ready to harm you and do nothing.
You mentioned two happy things. You mentioned two happy things: the beautiful rebel flag and the beautiful crosses.
I didn't say that was beautiful. I tell you, I feel like I was Moses down in Egypt lane.
Oh.
Telling Pharaoh to let the people go.
Okay. Someone sell her a tank, please.
That's how I felt.
You're not bald-headed, are you?
What?
You're not bald-headed, are you?
That's a stupid question. Are you bald-headed? Do you have hair on your head?
Yes, I have.
Thank you. So when I ask you a question like that, smart people don't think like that, James.
Okay.
Bright people do.
I was just
people
relaying.
Think like that to ask a dumb question like that. Okay.
I read the chat and it distracted me.
Mm-hmm. That's what bright people have to come up with. As Jesse say, when you're angry, you call people names and ask dumb questions.
Okay.
But if you got sense, you don't do stuff like that.
Fair enough.
Now you understand?
I appreciate it, Maze.
I got to get rid of my southern voice before I get back home, because it's just really, 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 really deep.
You're a traveler, that's for sure. Nice to hear from you, Maze.
I am. That's why I know what everybody be doing in every state.
Okay.
Because I've been there. Just like when I came out to your place with that Raggedy Airport. Have they fixed it yet?
The Raggedy Airport? The Raggedy LAX Airport?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a shame and a disgrace for somebody to have to go through that.
Yeah. I got to run, Maze. It's been nice talking with you.
My next traveling adventure, I will let you know what I did and what I saw.
That sounds
good. And I hope there's no more rebel flags.
All right.
And have a good one.
All right, you as well. Nice to hear from you. Keith, been on hold forever in Illinois. I got to get to Keith. How are you doing, Keith?
All right, Jake. How are you, buddy?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, well, I don't know about where Mays go in Tennessee. I've been to Tennessee. I never saw a rebel flag. I never saw a cross. I don't know where she goes. I'm not calling her a lie. I'm talking about, when I was there, I didn't see none of that. So, but anyway.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't know where she goes. I don't know if she goes to some backwoods. She tried to find some backwoods town with 20 hillbillies. I don't know what to say, and they got a rebel flag and they got a cross. Because I never saw it. So I don't know. I've been traveling through Tennessee. I never saw that. But anyway,
I would love to see a rebel flag in Tennessee, but I don't remember seeing any.
The flag doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? People have a right to have. I asked another LGBTQ, HIV, LMOP, HIV, does that flag bother her? She's supposed to be a Christian.
Right.
It seems like that flag should bother her. An abortion flag should bother her more than any rebel flag. It ain't doing nothing to nobody.
Yep.
But that's what these fake black Christians do. They always talk this kind of. They all talk the same kind of talk, man. It's just the same old rhetoric. They pretend to be godly people when they for the Democrats, aka demon rats. For abortion, gay this, gay that, converting our children, all these evil, wicked things. You ask them, how do you vote? A Democrat? Well, I feel like that's pretty wicked to me.
Yeah, it is.
They all vote Democrat. They're amazing, but they're all black, but they all vote Democrat. And you'll bring up these things, and they'll start to divert the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. You fake like we knew you were in the beginning. But anyway, I want to talk about 2 or 3 things. I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Joe Biden's supposed to have all these sanctions against Russia. Why are we the only one paying for it? You know what I'm saying? It's like Russia still got the war.
I know.
He's selling this oil to India and China. It ain't like he missed a beat. But all of a sudden, we have to pay because Joe Biden's sanctions and no willing to drill for oil. We have to pay for Russia's sanctions. How is he punishing Russia? It seems like he's punishing us, doesn't it?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
There's a fair point. It's ridiculous.
There's a very fair, because if the war is marching on, he's marching on. And another thing, if everybody would have got out of the way, he would have conquered them already. He didn't want to enslave them. You know what I'm saying? The president could have stayed the president. Everybody could have went on about their lives. But, he didn't want, NATO at his front door. But I'm just trying to say, if all these egos would have got out of the way, all this country would not be destroyed. We would not have a food shortage. We would have nothing going on. But that's just the egos of 2 men. But everybody else has to suffer in between.
I believe that. I think had Trump stayed where he was, his rightful place, in my opinion, that because the people should have voted for Trump. That we would not be in this mess, even though he does have to fight against his own government. But anyway, yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah, and number 2, like George Soros, it seems like sometimes too many people give the enemies too much information. Like half the Hispanic people were going to vote Republican. Now George Soros bought 16 Hispanic radio stations. I'm like, why do y'all give him all this information to defeat him? I don't get it. Yeah, he bought 16 Hispanic radio stations.
Shameful. More useful idiots.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, but when you give them this kind of information, they get to prepare for war. I don't understand that, but yeah, and then that propaganda, that they're going to, just like all the black radio stations, it's the same propaganda that you would see on the January 6th. They got their token Negro up there, and he brings up, Ku Klux Klan. That's the same old page book that they use. You don't see the black guy they put up and Cheney.
Liz Cheney.
80% of Democratic women. Like if you look at all them in the Senate or the Congress, mostly the Congress, the House, none of them are married. You know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, pay attention to it. 80% of them is always says Miss Sheila Lee Jackson, Miss Liz Cheney, Miss. Everybody's always there. 80% of them are not married.
I have to look into that.
Yeah, I want you to look into that.
Okay.
I really want you to look at it.
All
because
right.
80% of them are not married, are men hating, God hating, just women that, pretend to be all these Christians, whatever. But
right.
I want you to pay attention to it. 80%. I believe it's higher than that. 80% of them are not married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something to look
I
into.
just want to say, say my little piece, and I appreciate you guys letting me say my little piece.
Thank you,
That's why I call you Jesse. Jesse don't let nobody finish. I'm like, okay, I like Jesse, but I can't call Jesse. You let everybody finish. You let everybody say.
I'm too kind.
I can't call him.
I'm too kind.
Still my guy, but
You're pointing out my weakness.
I can't.
I got it. I appreciate it, Keith. Good to hear from you, man. Take care.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right. Man, I got to get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona is where something went down last week. What's up, Joe?
Oh, boy. Good morning, James. All right.
Hey.
First of all, carpetbagger, the term for a northerner who came down to the South after Reconstruction started in the Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have been misusing the term or adapting the term or hijacking the term. Yep. True.
Yeah. All right. Now, the Idaho mess. People need to understand how the law works. When you go online and you plan violence, that is enough for the law enforcement to say, okay, these people are planning a riot. We can arrest them based on that alone. That is conspiracy to commit violence and conspiracy to commit a riot.
If they link
that's why they were arrested.
If they link it to those individuals, I accept. Yeah. If it was linked to feds who were not among those individuals, we'll see. But okay, all right.
Well,
I accept.
No knowledge that
right.
was planted or was fake, but perhaps it was or perhaps it wasn't. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Now, last week you were playing that video of that person with mental illness, the schizophrenic guy. He was violently attacking that girl at the phone store. Right?
Yeah. Horrific.
And that's been terrible. And it's been on the local news here a lot also. And it's terrible. And James, if you look into people with schizophrenia, quite often they have a history of violence against family, friends, pets.
Yeah.
You name it.
He'd split his own mother's lip with the phone.
Yeah, so he was clearly a mentally disturbed person.
Yep.
But yet you wanted to bring it up as a black thing, and that's when I get irritated with you, Hake.
Well, I'll tell you, the schizophrenia just doesn't come out of nowhere, It comes out of messed up situations, family situations, or something wrong. And the brother, you notice the brother, he had tattoos on his face. Not that makes him a bad guy now, but it makes me wonder what kind of life that brother, the older brother who was peaceful, who had kicked this brother out, had been living too, It's a...
I'm sure it wasn't family
I bet you that black
situation, but schizophrenia is an actual illness of the brain, a physical illness change. So,
but physical illnesses come from spiritual ills most frequently, I dare say. And I bet you that schizophrenia is more common amongst the blacks because of these messed up situations, So it is in a sense a black thing because it's a frequent issue. It's a more frequent issue because
I don't know if there's
it's a symptom
data that says black people have schizophrenia more than other people.
Yeah, it's something to look into possibly. Yeah.
Look into that.
Yeah, but my point is
that's my criticism of you, James.
All right.
It's clearly a mental illness issue, and you wanted to make it a black thing.
Well,
and
I mean,
again,
it kind of is because black violence is so frequent.
William in California. I agree with some of what you say, brother, but ghetto culture is not black culture. Mass shootings and the thugs and all that is not black culture any more than it was Italian culture back in Al Capone's day in the 30s and 40s in Chicago when he was the crime kingpin.
I say it was Italian culture. I mean, it's a problem within the Italian culture that allowed for that to go on. Same thing with a problem within the black culture that allowed this evil ghetto culture to crop up. There's something to deal with among the decent people.
Do you know what allowed the Italians to break out of the slums and the poverty in Chicago and other big cities and get away from the crime lords like Capone and other people?
What?
One, it was World War II and the GI Bill that allowed Italians to get better educated because they were proudly serving in the military and provided better jobs when they got back home. And two, the massive expansion of infrastructure, the highways that started in the Midwest, that provided stable, high-paying blue-collar jobs that, again, allowed Italians to get good jobs and move out of the crime-infested cities.
That's
why
terrible. War and the so-called infrastructure thing. Wow. There's got to be more to this story. Anyway, it's interesting. What an interesting couple of points there, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That is thought-provoking.
And lastly, Chris, was on Jesse's show last week saying that there's no, good black countries or black culture anywhere. You might want to look up the BBC study that says Botswana is the 6th best country to live in.
Botswana, look it up, Chris. Nice. Appreciate the tip, Joe.
All right. Have a good day, Jim.
You as well. Nice to hear from you. Have a nice week. Talk to you again.
All right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right, bye. Guys, we are closing out the end of the show. Rick in Maine wanted to talk about the Uvalde, Texas shooting and police responsibility. Rick in Maine, please do. I appreciate you hanging on there. Do call me tomorrow if you can. And the rest of the callers, we do have a women's forum. I've neglected to mention it in Hake News. I do know that ladies do indeed listen to the Hake Report. And I do use the term loosely at times, but I do mean ladies too. The true ladies also can benefit from the women's forums, third Thursday of the month at Bond. Men's forums are always excellent, first Thursday of the month. And again, check out the hakereport.com/appearances for that, that interview with the New Zealand guy. Like, he's not that known apparently outside of the States, but he's, I felt that he did a pretty good job interviewing me, even given that he was this liberal. So I appreciate that, guys. And let's see, super chats. Appreciate the super chats. Also, support on subscribestar.com/The Hake Report, if you will. If you won't, that's fine too. But I do an exclusive video thing every week. I've considered possibly putting out my old ones in public so that you guys can see what they're like. And if you like it, then nice. If not, that's fine too. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks, and take care.